Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dina Danielle and I own the blog Nomad Moda, and today I am reviewing my MacBook Pro 2020 with the M1 chip. So I've been using this laptop for about 2 months now. I think I got it in February and it is now mid-April, so it's been about 2 months. So I bought this laptop because I had the MacBook Pro 2013 and actually no, it was mid-2012 I think now. I sent it back to Apple, so now I can't remember. It was mid-2012. So what was happening with that laptop, it didn't have enough RAM and it wouldn't process quick enough with Photoshop. With even just Photoshop open, it wasn't working properly. And then with Photoshop Lightroom and Premiere open, forget it. It would not work at all. The laptop would just shut down and it would just get overheated and overwhelmed and the screen would just go black, and then it would take me a day to be able to turn it back on. So I decided it was time to upgrade. I obviously waited way too long. I should have done it sooner, but it's kind of hard to shell out like almost $2,000 for a new laptop. If you break it down monthly, then it's like so worth it, but I was just being really frugal about it. I was like, I'm gonna get as much mileage out of this laptop as I can, and I shouldn't have waited that long. I should have gotten the new one sooner. But part of the reason I waited is because I wanted the new laptops with the M1 chip. And what I was concerned about was that the M1 chip for the MacBook 2020, I wasn't sure if how much RAM that I needed, and I wanted the 13-inch, so I was really hoping that MacBook would come out with a 13-inch with 32 gigabytes of RAM. So my last computer, my last MacBook Pro, the mid-2012, did not have enough RAM. This computer, I specifically had it configured, so it took a little bit longer to get to me. So if you haven't seen my video about setting up the MacBook Pro 2020 with the M1 chip, you should check out that video next. So the new MacBook, I have it right here. I'm just going to give you the specs. It is the MacBook Pro 13-inch with the M1 chip 2020, and it has 16 gigabytes of RAM. So it was important to me to have a little bit extra RAM so that everything could run smoothly, because this is always the problem that I run into, that there's not enough RAM to run Photoshop, Lightroom, Premiere, and other applications, and things start going slowly. With my old computer, I couldn't even upgrade Photoshop. So now that everything is on the cloud, it's important, I think, to have those updates so that if there's issues with your applications, you can get the new update and they can work smoothly. I also configured the storage on this computer, so I upgraded to 1 terabyte because that's something else that will definitely slow down your MacBook. So this new computer has 1 terabyte of flash storage, which is what I had on my last computer. The last computer that I had, the old one, I did not purchase it with 1 terabyte of storage. I had to keep upgrading that storage. So with this one, I wanted to make sure that I had enough storage. Okay, so here's the computer. Here's the MacBook Pro 2020 with the M1 chip. Nice and sleek and new. Looks really good. My old computer, these little rubber things were coming off, so it's nice to have a new one. Of course, that's what matters with the MacBook Pro 2020. The rubber things on the bottom so it doesn't slip off your desk. That's the most important part. So I am running, honestly, I have had absolutely no problem with multiple applications being open. I've had Discord open, I've had Word open, I've had Notes open, Zoom open, Photoshop open, and all at the same time. So this is like a breath of fresh air. And I have been using this computer for 2 months now and had absolutely no issues. Right now I'm just opening everything so I can show you that it is working. And something that and it opens so much faster. Here. It's opening now. That was another thing with the old computer. It would not, just didn't want to open. I would be sitting there waiting for like 15 minutes for applications to be open. I would go, you know, make some tea and come back, get a snack. So Premiere is still opening. Premiere takes a little bit longer. So it's open now. Lightroom open. I've been editing some photography that I took of Siku Jewelry, my jewelry company, wearing the hoops. Little plug. Photoshop obviously is working perfectly fine. So all in all, I am very happy with this computer. One thing that I am considering is, I know I said I wanted the 13-inch because it's smaller and I like to travel with my laptop. However, I have been doing very little traveling. I've gone on some road trips, but obviously because of COVID, I've done very little traveling. And this computer does fit really well, and it's actually smaller than the old MacBook Pro 13-inch, and it's lighter too. So it's thinner and it's lighter. And then the screen is actually smaller because it doesn't have as much like bumper around the screen, if that makes sense. So the screen is closer to the edge of the actual physical laptop. When you have this MacBook Pro 2020 next to the MacBook Pro 2013, you can see that the 2012, because that's what I had, the 2012 is actually a lot chunkier and it's heavier. So this is really nice. It's good for travel. However, for editing and Photoshop and editing photos and video and having multiple applications open at the same time, I could see possibly wanting the 16-inch, and knowing that they're thinner and lighter than the older computers, it makes it easier to travel with. So I think even with the 16-inch, it might be okay to travel with. I'm going to show you the case that I have for it. So this is the case it's by Waterfield. It's the case that I had for my old computer, the 2012 MacBook. And it is a little bit big because, like I said, this computer, the new one, is smaller and thinner than the old one. So this case is a little bit big, but it still fits fine inside. I'll show you. So it's Velcro, open this flap, and then put this in there. There's a little extra space on either side. So that's probably not great for it moving around in there. Maybe I should get a new case. But I wanted to show you because I've had this case for 9 years. It's a really great case. I think they're like around 50 bucks or something, but it has really held up. The only thing that's happening is that it's fraying a little bit here on the edge, and that's it. But it has like foam inside, so it really protects the laptop. What else to tell you about it? Oh, and I do really love the Touch ID. It makes the computer so much easier to open. So instead of having to enter your entire password, you just boop, and it's open. And that's really nice. And then also what has been so nice is being able to control the volume on this touch bar here, and other aspects of control with the touch bar. Oh, I guess one con is that what I've run into, another reason that maybe I would want the 16-inch MacBook, I'm not sure if you can upgrade with the 13-inch to have more USB-C ports. I don't think so. So this one, it only has 2 USB-C ports. There's only USB-C plugs on one side of the computer, and there's 2 right next to each other. And none of my current cords are USB-C, they're all USB. So I've had to get adapters, and the adapters are a little too thick. You cannot plug in 2 adapters right next to each other into these USB-C ports. So here's the USB-C adapter that I bought. You can see it's USB on this side and then USB-C on this side. I purchased this from Amazon. I will link it below. With this USB-C adapter, if you plug it in here, you can see that only one will fit. You cannot fit another one right next to it. So if you want to plug into cords that are USB and you need to use the adapter, you can't do it. It hasn't been a huge problem, but it's kind of a pain when I want to plug in, say, like my camera cord and something else. All in all, I'm really happy with it. There are a few cons that would make me consider upgrading to the 16-inch MacBook Pro, but compared to the MacBook 2012, this is such an upgrade and it is working so much better and I'm really happy with it. So I hope this video is helpful to you guys if you're considering buying a new MacBook computer, and if you have any questions, ask them in the comments below. I tried to cover everything, but I don't know, maybe I missed a few things. So if I did, let me know and I'll do my best to answer your questions in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next week. I will be consistent. Okay, bye. So I bought this laptop because wow, I haven't filmed a YouTube video in a while. I'm rusty. Damn, it's so loud. For sirens, then a helicopter overhead. This is what I get for living in LA.